Alright, so I've used the M3 iPad Air for over a month now, testing it for work, gaming, and even content creation. And the weirdest thing, out of all the iPads I've ever used, this one really surprised me. Not because it's the most powerful, because it isn't. Not because it's the cheapest, because it's not. But because it quietly nails what most people actually need an iPad to do, without trying to be something it's not. So if you're someone who likes the idea of owning an iPad but never sticks with like using one, this might be the first iPad that actually earns its place in your daily life. Let me explain. Hey everyone, it's Friends. Welcome back to the channel. So when I first got the M3 iPad Air, I didn't think I'd have much to say. I mean, it looks exactly like last year's model, still 60 Hz, same basic camera, same accessories. And I remember thinking, cool, another spec bump. But the longer I used it, the more it actually surprised me. It surprised me because I didn't feel like I had to force myself to actually use it. Every other iPad I've owned felt like it was trying to be something it wasn't. A laptop replacement, a drawing tablet, a mini production studio. And unless you're a very specific type of creative, that gets exhausting. Now this M3 iPad Air though, it felt like the first iPad that actually hits that sweet spot. Now what really sealed it for me was how well the M3 iPad Air fits into daily life, and the performance, it's great. I've used it for Lightroom editing, writing scripts in Notion, responding to emails, and even multitasking, and the M3 chip handled all of it with zero slowdown. And even running some heavier games. They're all totally playable at high settings, and unless you're trying to do serious 3D rendering or multicam video edits, you're probably not going to max this thing out. Battery life is also pretty solid. I was consistently getting around 6.5 to even 7 hours of real world use. That's not quite Apple's promised 10, but in actual day-to-day tasks like YouTube, web browsing, and occasional drawing, and even some gaming, that's still a full workday for me. Now, of course, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the display. This is where some people will hesitate, and I totally get it. It's still a 60 Hz panel. No ProMotion, no OLED, just a basic IPS screen. And yeah, if you're coming from a pro model, you'll feel the difference right away. Scrolling isn't as buttery and animations just feel a little less fluid. But for most people, again, it's more than fine. And if anything, the trade-off is worth it to keep the price and expectations in check. Because when you zoom out, this iPad isn't trying to impress you with tech specs. It's trying to fit into your life and stay useful over time, no matter what kind of user you are. Now, here's the thing that no one really says about iPads. The more powerful they get, the more complicated they become. Now, I've tried using the iPad Pro as a laptop replacement. I've loaded up with Final Cut, connected it to external drives, set up Stage Manager, and honestly, I'd rather just use my MacBook Pro for any sort of pro-related use. That's what makes the M3 iPad Air so refreshing. It's so simple. Yes, you can do some pro-level work on this device. It's definitely possible, but you don't have to. And with its relatively cheaper price tag compared to the Pro, I feel this is definitely the one to pick up as an everyday user. But what really helps is pairing it with the right accessories, because when it comes to iPad setups, you don't need a ton of stuff to make a big difference. And if you're getting anything, this one right here is a game changer. This is the Moft Dynamic Folio, and it's not your typical Folio case. It's origami inspired, super thin, and folds into way more positions than any case I've ever used. Instead of locking you into just one or two angles, it actually adapts to how you work. You've got floating creation mode, perfect for sketching, note-taking, editing photos, even working on thumbnails. Then there's theater mode, which props the iPad up at the perfect angle for watching videos or using it as a second screen next to your laptop. And what's really smart is that there's even this dual screen mode that docks your phone. This is extremely useful if you're working between apps, referencing notes, or even joining a quick call on your phone while you jot stuff down. But the mode I end up actually using way more than I thought is this leg mount angle. The way the Folio folds, it just rests naturally on your leg. It's pretty secure and it doesn't slip off your knee during meetings, flights, or those couch work sessions. And you can even get this magnetic Apple Pencil holder that snaps right on and doubles as a ruler when you take it off. It's one of those little design details you don't think you need until you have it. And get this, it's actually cheaper than Apple's own Folio. So if you want a case that keeps your iPad lightweight, flexible, and honestly way more usable for real world work, I'll leave a link down below to check it out. Genuinely impressed with this one, and a big thank you to Moft for sponsoring this video. So after using the M3 iPad Air for several weeks now, here's what actually stuck with me. The first thing is how low maintenance it is. Unlike the Pro, I don't feel the pressure to optimize my workflow every time I pick it up. I'm not loading like multiple apps in Stage Manager or connecting accessories just to get the most out of this iPad. Anyways, whether I'm responding to emails on the couch, reviewing scripts, or doing some light photo work in Lightroom, or just watching videos, it never feels like overkill. It fits into these in-between moments that my MacBook often feels too bulky for, and my iPhone's just not big enough to handle. One thing I will say though, Touch ID definitely shows its age. Having to reach over to the top button when it's docked on the Magic Keyboard or propped up with the Moft case feels a little clunky. Face ID would have been a huge quality of life upgrade here. And the second thing is that 60Hz display. I thought it would bother me more, especially coming from ProMotion, but honestly, for casual use, it fades into the background. Now, I am super spoiled since the screens on the iPad and MacBook are so nice, especially if you're using those devices outside. But yeah, the M3 iPad Air is not as smooth, but after a few days, you kind of stop noticing. Battery life has also been pretty consistent too, about 6.5 to 7 hours on average, sometimes more if I'm just reading or journaling. The last thing I didn't expect is how often I use this iPad for passive workflows, stuff like journaling, mood boarding. Those little things add up and they made this iPad way more valuable to me than I thought it would be. Again, it's not replacing my Mac and that's okay. So, who is this iPad actually for? If you're a full-time video editor, motion designer, or someone who lives inside pro-level creative apps, you'll probably still want the iPad Pro for the better display, smoother performance, and that extra GPU power. But if you're someone who just wants an iPad that feels good to use, that doesn't overcomplicate things, this is probably the iPad you've been waiting for. It's great for students, creatives who already have a main machine, digital planners, casual editors, and honestly, people like me who don't want to carry a laptop around all the time just to answer emails or sketch out video ideas. So if you're upgrading from an older iPad, maybe something with the home button or the first gen Apple Pencil, you'll feel the difference instantly. Better speed, better Apple Pencil support, better multitasking, and way more flexibility with accessories. And if you're deciding between this and a used iPad Pro, honestly, I'd still go with the Air. Yeah, you lose the 120Hz screen, but you gain a brand new battery, Apple Pencil Pro support, full warranty, and future-proof software updates. Plus, you don't have to worry about weird performance throttling or wear and tear from an older device. The M3 iPad Air is for people who want that Apple ecosystem experience without overspending on features you'll barely use. And of course, if you really want the best specs possible, the iPad Pro might be the move. And again, that's kind of the point. If you have any questions or if you're still debating between the iPad Air and something else, drop it in the comments. I'd love to help out in any way I can. And if you want to see more content like this one, you can go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. It really means a lot. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.